Yes, the title's right. Yes, you saw it right. I'm gonna get into it, but I made this video before, but I actually ended up like the file got corrupted or something. So we're gonna do it again. But basically, I'm 18 years old. I'm about to turn 19, and I've lost $30,000. Keep in mind, $30,000. That's a lot of money. You guys are probably looking at this. You're probably guys are looking like he lost $30,000. You guys probably wouldn't understand, but coming from where I was, you got to keep in mind that I lost $20,000 betting on sports, bro. I was, and it's to a point to when if I could go back and should change anything, I completely would not. I would not. I wouldn't change a single thing. I've lost $30,000 and I don't regret a single thing that's happened to me because it's made me who I am today. So I'm forever grateful for the lessons that I've learned. But sometimes people in life, it takes heart. It takes time to learn a lesson. And it takes the absolute worst. It takes you losing $30,000 for you to lose your whole house in order for you to learn a lesson. And I'm glad that this lesson has happened early in my life rather than later down in my life, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today without this lesson or without the things that I've come to gain out of the loss, out of the tragedy. But basically, um, it all started when I had a buddy of mine, and him, and my other friend. He had like a sports betting app or something. It was called Caesar's Sportsbook, and basically there was a thing that's called a parlay, which you bet on like three players to score a touchdown, and there so happened to be a bet that we all placed. It was like Mike Evans, Debo Samuel, and then Travis Kelsey, I believe, to all score a touchdown. And we all put $10 in on this bet, and then we ended up receiving $70. Keep in mind, I was 17 at the time. I didn't have a job. This was like quick money, is what it felt like, and it was exhilarating to watch. I just made money on watching sports. Like I never thought that this would be able, like $70 in a day at my time was decent money. Like I had money at the time. I had savings. I was working. I didn't have a job, but like throughout my childhood I had savings to where I would like mow for other people, I would shovel for other people. So I had a little bit of money. Like I was 17, I was 16. I didn't have a lot of money, but I had a little bit of money, you know? So you turn like $10 into $80, and then I remember I kind of just speed up the story, but basically it got to a point to when I made like $800 within 2 months, and that was decent money. That was decent money, $800 or something. And then it all went downhill. I had like this big parlay, which is pretty much you bet on like multiple events occurring, and then once those multiple events occur, if they all occur, you get a larger sum. And there was this one bet I had. It was a parlay of like six teams to win or something, and then it ended up like literally at the buzzer, someone scored a bucket and I ended up losing. So I would have made like $400 on that, but I ended up not making anything. And then I remember from that point on, I just went on like a huge spree of just losing and losing and losing and losing. And it got to a point to when I was down like $2,000. I was down $2,000, and I thought it was over because that was pretty much most of my money. Now I have a job. Now I'm working, and I'm down like $2,000, and I think that I want to get out of this hole that I'm in, this hole that I'm in right now. So I'm just gonna keep on trying to get out of it. But I was doing the same things over and over and over and over again. Keep in mind, I was working during school, during high school, and most of these checks that I would be getting would just be going over to the sportsbook app, and I would just be depositing most of my paychecks to that sports book right as soon as I got paid. So I was putting in money to get paid. So right when I got paid, I would take money over and I would put it into the sports betting app. And I would instantly, or I would say instantly, like there'd be times when I would win for like 5 days or something, but it would all go away within a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks, but hardly. I would always end up just relying on that one paycheck. And I was doing the same thing over. Like there was times when I've lost a whole paycheck just within 2 hours, just within 3 hours. And I just remember the exact pain that I felt just sitting there, thinking that my life was over, thinking that I I was never able going to rebound for this. And then this was my life. Like I remember sitting in my bed at night and just keep on doing the same thing over and over, keep on placing these bets and keep on losing, doing the same things, same things, same things, same things. It got to a point to where I had to go to the ATM and completely withdraw my whole paycheck, put that money away, cash, but then I would always end up back at the ATM depositing cash. Like, it got to a point to when I would be at the ATM and I would just be or putting the cash that I pulled out, putting that back in the ATM just so I could place bets. And this, like, I would be going to the ATM at like 1 a.m. because I was that addicted. I was that down bad. Like, I just got off a shift. I just worked a night shift or something at Chipotle, and I remember myself going to the ATM just to place bets. And like, there were some times when I would make money and then I would immediately try to spend it because I know that that money was not mine. I know that that money would not come back to me, so I would try to spend it on stupid stuff. Like, I bought like $400 worth of clothes because I knew that I probably wouldn't have that money back. And so this is kind of a sped up story, ramped up story, but basically at the time I'm like 15K in the hole, or like, it comes to a point to when I completely lose $20,000. $20,000 all the time. And I remember there's this one paycheck, and I'm now working at Chipotle, and I get a first paycheck from Chipotle, and I'm working like 40 hours a week now during school as a senior, and I'm working like 40 hours a week, and I decided to make a pact to myself, like, this is my last paycheck, this is my last time I'm even ever going to do this. Like, I keep on losing, I keep on throwing my life away. I need to make a change. So I decide, like, this is the last paycheck. If I win this paycheck, or if I lose this paycheck, I'm done. So it was a $700 paycheck, and I ended up losing it. And from then on, I was working at Chipotle, and from then on, I made a pact that I'm never going to do it again. I deleted all my apps because, granted, there was times when I told myself that I was going to delete all my apps. I was done. I just lost my paycheck. I'm done. But I really wasn't. I just kept on doing it. I just kept on doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. What is that? That's insanity. And so, paycheck would go in, and I would lose it. And I just felt hopeless. I felt lost. Like, no one knew about this, and still people don't even know about this. But I just kept on losing, and I felt hopeless. I felt lost. I didn't feel like I didn't have anyone to really reach out to. I didn't really have much friends at the time. My parents were getting divorced at the time, but this isn't a sob story. And so I just ended up losing. And then from that moment on, I told myself, I'm not doing this anymore. Time goes on, and then I start to learn about the stock market. I get into stocks. At the time, I was into stocks, but I was kind of gambling more than I was paying attention to the stock market. And then it comes to a point where I lose $10,000 trading. And I do the same thing, to where I'm pretty much just putting paychecks in there. And yes, I kind of am gambling. But at this time, I'm saying, hey, at least I'm not sports betting. At least I'm not sports betting now. I would much rather be losing money or losing money in the stock market than sports betting. So then I lose $10,000 trading, and that's where I've incurred $30,000 total. And it's to a point to where no one really knows what you're going through on the inside. Like, people still don't even know that I've gone through this. And you can say that you're fine, you can say that you're good, but on the inside, you're really probably broken. And I used to tell my parents, I used to tell everyone around me that, like, I'm good, I'm fine. But deep down inside, I knew that I was struggling. I knew that I wasn't where I wanted to be. Like, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be someone with money. That's what I really wanted to be. But when I kept on putting the wrong priorities first of trying to get rich quick and trying to make money now, it just didn't work for me. And then I see myself in the mirror, and I don't even like who I am. I'm in my room, I'm crying, I'm just a total victim through all of this. And then I decided to make that decision. Of, hey, this is my last paycheck. Either I'm done living like this, and either this somehow happens now, or I end up losing this and I'm done. And nothing's going to change unless if you change it. Like, I could have still been in that same hole, and I still could have been depressed. I still could have been lost. Granted, I wasn't really depressed, but like for someone that works during school and for someone that should have money, for someone that should have $30,000, to have that instantly erased because your mindset isn't in the right priority, to where you are prioritizing the wrong things in your life, that's pretty deep. That's pretty rough. Like I've felt like it was all over. I felt like my life was over. And then I decided to make a change. I can either live this victim mentality BS, or I can actually work for this. Or I can actually change my behavior. Or I can actually do something about this. Or I can live the same lies that I tell myself, and then the same life that I have been living, and just keep on burning paycheck after paycheck after paycheck and keep feeling lost. But sometimes the best thing to do to stop digging that hole is just to stop digging. Just stop digging. Then like there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always some other side of you that you didn't know that was there. And I am so glad that I stopped. I'm so glad that I quit. And I do not regret a single thing that's happened, because throughout all that struggle, I went into every shift and I just knew that I had something to gain, or I knew that I had something to get back. I knew something or I have lost. So now it's my time to go back in the world, and now is my time to take back what I lost. And it kind of was it was humbling. It was really sucked knowing that I've pretty much lost all my life savings. I have $0 to my name, and now I have to get out there and I have to go back and I have to regain what I've lost. And I know that I should not have lost that, and I know if I could have just avoided it in the first place, I could have. But that's what ignited my work ethic. That's what you see me. That's why I started working 60, 70 hours a week, because I knew that I can either play this victim card, or I can get out there and I can get after it. I can change my life, or I can fall victim to, oh, I had a gambling addiction. Why did this happen to me? Why was this me? And I knew that I could always quit, but I never wanted to, because I was living the same lies that I was telling myself that whole time. I was telling myself that we're going to get this back. We're going to make this back. But when the same things are happening to you over and over and over again, and if you are not changing from them, then you are not changing from them. Don't think that you're instantly going to change just out of nowhere. Change is not going to happen out of nowhere. It's not. You have to make a decision to change it. And sometimes when you lose everything, when you're at rock bottom, when you feel like you're no one, when you feel like you have nothing, when you feel like you don't even have someone to talk to, that's when you might need to change. That's when you might need to change. That's when you might need to look at yourself in the mirror, and then you decide that you need to change. But nothing is going to change out of nowhere. You have to make a decision, and you have to tell yourself that you need to change. And I am so glad that that's happened to me, because it is ignited. It has sparked who I am today. This is why I get up and I get going every single day, because I look back on who I was, how broken, how lost I was, how confused I was, how like I was just putting the wrong priorities over my life. I was trying to make money quick. I was trying to get the losses that I had back, and I was not learning from my behaviors at all. I was not learning from the mistakes that I made at all. And what do we need in life to make ourselves to change? And for me, it was to hit absolute rock bottom. Absolute rock bottom. Because I really don't think that there's a rock bottom moment. I don't, because you have to decide, you have to change your life, because it's not going to happen out of nowhere, bro. Those shifts that I worked and I grinded, and I knew that I had something to gain back because I've lost all this money. I now shifted from like, I've lost all this money to like, let's just get after it. And let's just stop focusing on the money. I don't even care how much money is in my account. Let's just get after it, and let's spark this work ethic. And from then on, from that $700 paycheck, I decided to change my life. And I'm not going to say I'm nowhere near who I want to be and nowhere near who I want to become, but I can tell you guys that I have changed my life, and it is never too late. I used to thought my life was over. I was 18 years old. I'm still 18 years old. And within this year, within 2023 to 2024, that back end of it, I decided to actually change something. But nothing will change unless you change it. Nothing will change unless if you actually change it. And what do you need to change? What do you need in life to change? And like from now on, it kind of sucks that I have this burden on my back. I have this chip on my shoulder. I have this chip on my shoulder that, like, bro, I could have been this right now. But who knows? I could have had like some traumatic thing that happened to me. I could have found gambling later on in my life. I could have, because now my priorities are straight. I don't give that any mind. I don't care about that at all. I don't, because it's just a waste of time. It's just a demon. It's the devil talking to you. It's Satan talking to you. It's trying to reel you in. And all those temptations, all those things that you might want to indulge in, bro, it's just better not to even indulge in them in the first place. Anyways, that's all I had. I just want to tell you guys that. I just really want to get that off my chest. I don't want to post a video about this. I have posted my story. If you want to see it more in depth, it's on like the webinars in my playlist. You go to playlist, it's like my story. You guys can see like my whole story. But this is kind of just a sped up version of it. But I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow.